Hello and welcome back to another video. Now, since my last video, something's changed slightly. Yeah, I've gone really in on the lockdown look. And also, I'm set up now from home. Got a small desk just in the corner of my bedroom and yeah, making do as much as possible. Now, today's video is all about making that transition from agency to in-house. And the reason why I'm doing these videos is because I've had so many people reach out who have been impacted by the global pandemic. I think about when businesses are financially impacted, an easy way to save money, at least in the short term, is just to slow down hiring or stop it altogether. And that means recruiters are ultimately out of work. I have had friends, former colleagues, or just people in my network reach out to me in the last few weeks asking about that transition from agency to in-house and just interested in that, especially as they are looking for opportunities. I'm going to break down some tips that I hope you'll find really helpful, not only on what in-house is like compared to agency recruiting, but also some tips for you to make that transition and really help in your interview process. Hope you enjoy and the best of luck. When you start to think about moving from a recruitment agency to in-house, that's a really big career change. So ultimately you should think about, is it the right move for you? And think about why. Why do you want to move in-house? I think the wrong reasons would be if that you're perhaps struggling as a agency recruiter, perhaps whatever that might be. It might be struggling with new business development or finding candidates. All these other aspects might be difficult, and you might think it might be an easier move to transition to in-house. It really isn't. The challenges can somewhat be very different and very different environments. But yeah, I would say in-house recruitment is definitely not by any means easier than agency recruitment. For me personally, I moved from agency to in-house because I loved partnering with companies, hiring managers and teams and watching them grow and helping them to do that. What I didn't like though on being an agency side is how transactional that was. I'd help them make a hire and then that's my job done and I'm on to the next one. When you're in-house, you are essentially hiring colleagues and you are building that company long term and you are part of that brand, and that's what I really enjoy. So if you're an agency recruiter who really enjoys that part of your job and wants to do much more than perhaps getting candidates into process, the whole piece around talent acquisition, then yeah, I think in-house is for you and you should definitely look into it. You should also be aware of the various types of roles that there are being in-house. In my company, within talent acquisition, you have not only recruiters, of course, but also coordinators who are responsible for that whole candidate experience. You also have sourcers, really focusing on finding the best candidates and put them in the top of that talent pipeline. But also talent specialists and those people focusing on our systems and also programs like our internships, for example. Of course, you have our talent acquisition managers, making sure all the recruiters are happy and productive, and also employment brand too. For me personally, I prided myself on sourcing when I was in agency, and that was incredibly helpful for my first role that I took in-house, which was heavily sourcing focused. So hey, if that's you, great. Or you might be an account manager at a recruitment agency and be much better with the hiring manager contact and more away from the sourcing side. So think about all those different roles within a company and then focus in on the type of role that's going to best suit what you're good at and what you enjoy. If you want to be in a recruiter role in-house, then I highly recommend building similar types of experience while at agency. So if you don't have a lot of experience being face-to-face with your clients and hiring managers and doing a lot of interaction with them, then make sure you try and get that experience. An in-house recruiter needs to be an excellent partner in so many different ways, not just to hiring managers, but also to internal stakeholders like HR business partners too. I mentioned before that agency recruitment is very transactional. You focus on finding candidates and hand them over to the company. And that could mean not even touching the interview process, purely just finding people. In-house recruiters, so many different parts. There's that full life cycle from deciding whether you want to open a role or not, all the way through to that onboarding. So if you can get experience in that full life cycle in any way possible, try and embed yourself with clients as much as you can, provide that extra value where possible. These are great examples to bring to your interview process that are really going to convince employers and talent acquisition teams that you're serious about going in-house, and also have the skills to do it. My last tip would be, in an interview, to speak the language of in-house recruiters. So when you are giving an example and say someone asks you the ROI, or what was the benefit of that particular example, in agency, it's all about the cash ultimately. Like who's billing the most, and what was the ROI there? There's a very black and white and tangible fixed amount to hire, so you can talk in those terms. You might want your examples to focus on things like candidate experience and hiring manager experience. What was the source of the hire? Did you source them directly yourself? And if so, on what platform? Was it direct advertising or from an event? Or perhaps you might even want to think about that candidate and then the onboarding process and longevity. What was the quality of the hire? You might want to think about, did you check back in 6-12 months from now? Are they still there? Are they performing well? What is the value to the business ultimately? Rather than on agency side, you'll be thinking about the value in terms of a fee. If you have also made that transition successfully from agency to in-house, feel free to leave your thoughts and your advice for others to read as well in the comments. That would be great. As always, if you could like and subscribe, it'll really help get this video out to more people and help me continue the video content on this channel. All right, thanks very much. Bye.